Next question today is, David, how do you think that these conspiracy theorists and reactionary Republicans in Congress are going to impact the next couple of years? Yeah, this is a really good question. I actually have a sort of backwards, reverse approach to this, which is if we see, I'm guessing that this viewer is referring to people like Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, Congresswoman Lauren Boebert, Congressman Madison Cawthorn, who we saw earlier this week. Just he doesn't know anything. He can't answer simple questions. I believe that whether they get reelected is going to signal to us the legacy, the staying power of Trumpism. And what I mean by that is Boebert, Greene, Cawthorn, and some of these others, they rose to the House of Representatives in November, riding on the wind, propelled by the same sails that defended Trumpism, the Trumpian cult. And they were running in the right districts where these sort of QAnon types like Marjorie Taylor Greene and the wild pro-gun folks like Boebert and Cawthorn, they were able to win because of the districts in which they ran and sort of lifted by the boat of Trumpism. With Trump gone now, and a question, we haven't heard from Trump since he left office. We'll see if we hear from him during the next 2 years. Whether these people get reelected in November of 2022 will signal whether Trumpism died with Trump and became relegated to basically internet conspiracy theories, or whether it will have the staying power to maintain a sort of legislative power and a presence in the House of Representatives. If you're not familiar with some of these people, Marjorie Taylor Greene, for example, she represents Georgia's 14th district. She has been a QAnon supporter. She talked about some shooting being a false flag. I don't remember if it was Parkland or Sandy Hook. This is a really insane person who on January 21st drafted articles of impeachment against Joe Biden. Some of these folks are merely delusional. Some of these folks are hungry for power, and they see playing these Trumpian characters as the way to get that power. Some of them plan to use it to grift their way to something beyond being members of the House. But this is going to be the big signal as to whether the Republican Party really eats itself, or whether it says, OK, yeah, listen, these people were an aberration. They won because of Trump, but we're going to get them out in 2022. And I don't know the answer to that. I have no advice for the Republican Party. What I do think is clear is if in a 2-year period between 2018 and 2020, you lose the House of Representatives, you lose the Senate, and you lose the White House with a president who makes himself a one-term president, you would say it's time to learn something from this. There's many things Democrats should learn as well. I'm not saying Democrats are exempt from learning from what happened. But if Republicans learn from this, then they will figure out how to get these people out and to go back in the direction of, people like Mitt Romney. But the truth is, given the popularity of Ted Cruz, for example, and Louis Gohmert and Matt Gaetz, even before these whack jobs were elected in November, it's not clear that there's a big appetite for the Republican Party to do that. So we'll see what happens. But I think the legacy of the Republican Party will be in how it deals with, and this applies to both voters and the party apparatus itself, how do they deal with these wacky people that were elected in November? Marjorie Taylor Greene up there, Lauren Boebert, Madison Cawthorn. I think there are others. Those are the three names that come to mind right away.